are they spectacular. It's time now for our position spotlight, brought to you by Pilot Flying J, as we take a look at the Browns' new look safety room in 2020. And by the way, Josh, it is a completely revamped room. Out of the top 4 safeties expected to be on the roster, 3 of them will be making their Cleveland Browns debut here in the year 2020. The 3 new faces: Grant Delpit, our second-round pick; Carl Joseph, a former first-round pick of the Oakland Raiders, now Las Vegas Raiders; and Andrew Sendejo, the 10-year veteran who spent the majority of his career with the Vikings. Those 3 will be joining number 29, as you see him, Sheldrick Redwine, last year's Browns 4th-round pick from the U, who started the final 5 games of the season.
Now, you see what we have is a lot of talent at that position, because you're going to have a battle all through training camp. And that's what training camp is supposed to have. You have the best of the best out there on the field, what you believe that each one can be a starter. But now they have to compete against each other, and it may not be athletic ability and talent. It may be who fits better in the defensive scheme and what they're trying to work with, who fits better when it comes to the other plays, the other pieces to the puzzle. Because when it comes down to it, you might see one of those guys, and Sendejo has the ability to be just a nickel or a guy that moves down in a strong safety. You might see guys switch positions depending on how that battle plays out.
Absolutely, and it's a versatile group, and we heard yesterday Grant Delpit on Friday, when he talked with the media, said, I don't know if they're going to have me at free, they're going to have me at strong. The safeties are interchangeable in this Joe Woods defense, and I think there are going to be a lot of times where we're going to see not 2, but 3 safeties on the field, and some of those dime looks with 1 linebacker, 3 corners, and 3 safeties, and I think we'll also see some big nickel. And you mentioned Sendejo, 10-year veteran, 110 games played, 61 career starts. He spent the majority of his career with the Minnesota Vikings and was a key part of some excellent defenses there. Obviously known very well by our staff that has that Minnesota flavor to it, and was actually with Philly last year when Andrew Berry was in Philly before going back to Minnesota. And you mentioned playing that nickel, the ability to play both free safety, strong safety, he's a big hitter, and play the nickel. He did that for the Vikings in their playoff run, came down and covered the slot.
So you mentioned Andrew Berry being with the Eagles last year and him being with the Eagles. So obviously they feel that he can still get the job done. A lot of times, as athletic ability fades us through age, he's been in the league 10 years, he needs to know where to be. And they feel like he can be where they need to be as a deterrent from offenses to throw against him, to run certain plays, because he has a knack for the football. And that's when you get those veteran, older players who know how to move around the defense, who knows where the ball is going, who can make those plays that young guys, their abilities won't allow them to make.
And, by the way, a great resource for Grant Delpit. And I think one of the big questions in camp will be, how quickly does Delpit become an every-down player? In the first day here, Sendejo and Joseph were your starting safeties. Delpit was out there with Sheldrick Redwine with the second team. But Delpit, as I mentioned, second-round pick this year. I think the steal of the draft. He won the Jim Thorpe Award in 2019 as the nation's best defensive back, part of that national championship defense of the LSU Tigers, along with fellow rookie Jacob Phillips. Also played with Greedy the year before, so very familiar. He was the guy who got to wear number 7 at LSU, and that is a big deal. The list of the names, yes: Honey Badger, Jamal Adams, Pat Pete, Grant Delpit. When you get to wear 7 at LSU, that means they think something. You are the guy. 7 sacks, 8 interceptions in his career there. And here's the stat to know. Remember I said he had one of the best seasons in college football history in 2018, Grant Delpit. In that season, he had 5 interceptions, 5 sacks, 9.5 tackles for loss while playing free safety, becoming the only FBS player since the year 2000 to have 5 interceptions, 5 sacks, and a fumble recovery in the same season, and did that as a free safety.
When it comes to a guy like Delpit, they anytime a front office organization drafts high defensive backs, they surround him with talent like Sendejo, guys that have done it before, because he's the guy who they want to come in here and meet all their expectations. He's the new blood, so to speak. He's the one who they're going to say, you know what, we drafted him. We think that this guy can take it over for us. But if at any chance he needs a few more games to acclimate, he needs maybe a year to acclimate, they see his potential, but they have those veterans waiting in the back to be able to take up his slack in Sendejo and others.
Absolutely, and Delpit, I mean, that's really one of the stories of a normal offseason would be seeing his progression from rookie minicamp through OTAs through training camp. You don't have that this year, but I got to tell you, I think when the pads come on, this is a guy that is going to be fun to watch. A lot was made about his tackling, and last year missed some tackles, battled through that ankle injury, but when they got to the college football playoff, didn't miss a single tackle,
Right.
double-digit tackles in their championship game win, and I think Delpit's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder because of that. And you talk about guys coming in with hype. Carl Joseph was a first-round pick of the Raiders, number 42. He is the other addition in this safety room. For Pro Football Focus, he was just a top-graded defensive player on the Raiders in 2018 and 19, a 4-year veteran with 41 career starts under his belt. Was playing the best football of his career last year before an injury limited him to 9 games. But again, this is another guy. Free safety, strong safety, versatility. Started at both of them for the Raiders. And this guy, if you ever watch his highlights,
Right.
he is a hitter.
Yes.
He is not the kind of guy you want to come across the middle of the field and see coming at you.
Strong safety written all over him. But I still want to highlight the mindset and the thought process behind these three guys. This is what you call a third, and a third. You have a third of your team of young guys, draft picks, first, second-year guys that are sought to be the future, the brand of what we hope to become. Then you have a third of the guys on their second contracts, the guys who are in the climax of their careers. In Carl Joseph, he's a 4-year veteran. He's been around the league for a little bit. He's vested. He's been there and done that, but he still has a lot left. Then you have a third of the team that are veterans that have proven themselves. You can plug them in for a year or two. They'll shine. They'll do everything for you at a high level, and that's who we have in Sendejo. So when you look at Delpit, Joseph, and Sendejo, a third, and a third, you have depth behind depth, and that's what the overall theme is on this football team. When you're thinking about a general manager position and how they want to scope out their team, this is the blueprint for that.
Absolutely, and it's part of the succession planning. When you want to have sustained success, you need guys that can help you now, like Andrew Sendejo, you see on your screen there. And he's a guy, when I got a chance to talk to him, I really was impressed by him. This is an old-school football player, and what he said to me, the final thing I asked him, I said, what do you want Browns fans to know about you? He goes, I am going to play my beep off every single time I am on the field for them, for this city. I said, they're going to love you in Cleveland. That's the right attitude in this city for sure. And we mentioned that succession planning. And you know what? Another little note about Carl Joseph, and by the way, he is going to join us live after this practice here on Browns Live Training Camp presented by Discount Drug Mart, and that is this. He could have signed a multi-year deal elsewhere.
Wow.
He chose to sign a 1-year deal with the Browns and bet on himself. Again, a former first-rounder, has battled some injuries the last couple of years, but Carl Joseph knows if I go out there and have a big year, versatile safeties like me who can play the run and can cover are getting paid in the NFL now. So I'm going to come here, and you know as a Browns fan, you are going to get the best of him. I hope he's part of the long-term plans, but you're going to get a chance to see the best of him as he tries to secure his financial future.
I like that. Him coming in, betting on himself. That is tremendous. Even the way the NFL has moved now when it comes to players and player safety, he's betting on himself. He could have took the money, but he's staying here with our Cleveland Browns. Is going to say, I know I battled through injuries. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to show you.